So now, any questions or comments? We've got a few more minutes here. Yes. Yeah, it goes back to self-loathing and needing to love yourself. Again, that's why I started yesterday there. It is that this is the foundation of everything else. Loving yourself, being kind to yourself, being gentle with yourself, being nurturing. This Tibetan saying that I heard for the first time this summer, it just really, it was like, wow, I wish I would have heard this decades ago. But it is, if you have a warm place in your heart for yourself, you will be comfortable wherever you are. We could say in English vernacular, you're going to be comfortable in your own skin instead of being uncomfortable in your own skin and hating yourself and thinking that you are just above that serial killer, that child molester, and so forth. But even they have Buddha nature. And now here is a practice that if you have a lot of confidence in Khenpo Kartar Rinpoche or His Holiness the 17th Karmapa, it would be to do that exercise that I talked about yesterday morning with a picture of them in front of you and having their love coming and filling you up, where you're giving them all your negativity and you're getting from them all their positive love and compassion and so forth. So that would be one thing, but basically you really can't, if you don't know what love is, it means you can't love yourself, and if you don't know what love is, you can't love other people. It's going to be, loving other people is going to be a needy kind of love. As in the case of the nurse, where if I engage in these nice, loving activities, then it proves that I'm a good person, that I'm lovable. And that doesn't work. You can be, shall we say, a workaholic by going down that path. Because then you have to do, it's just like with a drug. You develop resistance to it, and then you have to do more work. And then you have to do more work for the same, what would I say, amount of pleasure. And it doesn't work. I see people doing that with animal rescue too. People that have really been abused, their heart just bursts when they see an abused puppy. And then they put their self-worth into how many puppies they save. And it's not about that. I can't say it's that way in every case, but I suspect that the people that you work with, many of them have low self-image and have had abusive childhoods. Yeah. And it's fine that you're doing that, by the way. It's excellent because it's very beneficial. Being a nurse is very beneficial. All of these are very beneficial, but it can be a problem when you're coming from this needy place, that this is going to prove that you're a good person. And these are the kind of activities that are beneficial, but the motivation is to ease the pain of the animal rather than ease your own pain. And you're a very lovable person. You're more lovable than a puppy. You know, the greatest distance in the universe is the distance from the brain, the intellect, and the heart. And this practice can help bridge that. I'll tell you what, you are the kind of people that I like to see. And I'm serious. As I said, it seems to be this is my karma. It's like, even if I'm in a non-Buddhist setting, like these friends, they're not interested in meditation. You know, their son is killed. Do they come to me for counseling? It was like 4 or 5 months after he killed himself that I saw them, and they used to be my next door neighbors. But I just, wherever I go, I run into people that have had horrible abusive childhoods and horrible self-image. And so it's like, okay, this is my karma. This is the Lama I'm going to be. I can't fight it. And so I'm always pleased because this allows me to use my experience, my life experience, in a way to benefit other people. Some of you have seen this publicity picture of mine with the tractor and the manure fork. You know, using life's manure for growth. Let's get to work. Bring your manure and I'll help you handle it. We'll compost it. And you know, that's what composting is just letting it sit there and every once in a while turning it. So we sit and then every once in a while turn it. Well, I mentioned that yesterday. I used the example of a boat that's got a leak. You know, you want to have that pump pumping it out faster than it comes in. And so that's where purification comes in. And then, again, learning what is virtuous and what is not virtuous. And then, in this case, learning how to love yourself. Because that really is the bottom line. You have to learn how to love yourself. And again, I can give examples all day long. I can talk about it all day long. But you have to experience it in your heart. But here's another example. And that is that the mother, what you need to do is look at yourself like a loving mother looks at her young child. That no matter what that child does, that mother loves that child. I'm not saying your mother was like that. My mother was not like that, although I don't remember at that age. Actually, her problem was that she really loved me. And because of her illness, it became a very twisted love. I was her favorite, and so she had concentrated more of attention on me, trying to make sure nothing would happen to me, nothing bad would happen to me, and she was paranoid. And that's what we do when we have self-loathing for us. We've got that love for ourselves, but it's totally confused and twisted. We're spending a lot of attention on ourselves, but it's really neurotic attention. And so a neurotic mother with a young child, when the child is starting to walk, the child is going to be crawling, he's maybe going over to a chair where it can help him up, and the neurotic mother has said, "You dumb idiot, you're never going to learn to walk. Why are you even trying?" And he comes over and gets up on the chair and then falls over, and she runs over and slaps him and says, "See, I told you so. You always fail." Yada, yada, yada. That's the troll mother. But person that has self-loathing really does that to yourself. I'm very familiar with this kind of troll. And that's what we do to ourselves, and we think that this feels familiar and secure and comfortable. Whereas a loving mother will just watch the child with love in her heart, let the child crawl, let the child stand up and fall, and frequently the child might whimper a little bit or whatever, but then right back at it, trying to stand up and walk again. And if the child falls and starts crying, then she comes over and holds the child, gives the child protection and security. And then maybe the mother has to kiss the owie. More protection and security, and then let the child go. And we need to give ourselves space and security. That warm place in our heart is a safe place where the child is not, where you are not going to be attacked by this troll mother that you have, where there's love there, security, comfort, safety. And sure, then you can look with love at the things that you do that are mistakes, but with the idea that punishment doesn't work, that love and encouragement is how you become better. That's how you progress, and that's how you improve. Confess your mistakes, and then vow to do better, rather than beat yourself up. So I hope this helps. Yeah. It is noon, but we can have one more question if there's another one. I think this is a wonderful session. I'm having a wonderful time.
For me, part of that self-love is self-acceptance. Accepting oneself. We're not perfected Buddhas, and so the love is accepting warts and all. We're going to make mistakes, and if we're judging ourselves, we go into paralysis. We won't engage. We won't try because we're just failures anyway. So what's the point? But that self-acceptance goes a long way in saying, okay, I'm not perfected, but I'm on my way. And so that aspect of self-love, I think, is, in the beginning, is just self-acceptance.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, well, denial is that I didn't hurt anybody, this didn't hurt me, this isn't a problem. Acceptance is, well, this is the way I am, but, it's workable. And also, people are different. We all have different abilities. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, a neurosurgeon, a genius in chess, and a diplomat. You don't have to do it all. That there are some things that you're going to do better than others, and it's all right. It's not a problem. I worked with another chaplain, and it was wonderful because believe it or not, there are things that I'm not so good at, and he tended to be good at those. And the things that he wasn't so good at, I tended to be good at, or I would spend my energy there. And so it's realizing where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, accepting them, as Lama Losang said, and then realize that it's workable. You don't have to be perfect. When I suddenly came to realize that I didn't have to be perfect, I actually wrote a poem. And in it was about the sun. And I said, the sun has sunspots and flares, perfection unnecessary. You don't have to be perfect. And it's a fruitless Well, it's like perfecting samsara. That's only here, instead of samsara, it's yourself, this project of yours. Accept yourself the way you are, and fine, work on your faults to improve them. But denial is, there's nothing wrong with me. Or a common form of denial, and this might not be your problem, is that I'm not going to die. That's probably the most common form of denial in this country, is I'm not going to die. And you can't perfect that. No matter what you do, how good a doctor you have, you're going to die. Does that help? Okay. Did you have a question? Mm-hmm. Well, you used the right word, practice. And this kind of goes back to what you said. This is a practice, not a perfection. This isn't about doing it perfectly. You just do it.
It's just like riding the bike.
Yeah.
You fell off a few times. You bumped into a few things. You got straightened up.
Yeah. So what?
So what?
Yeah, so what? So, it is, it's about 8 after. Maybe we will end here, and then, believe it or not, we'll come back and have even a better time, because we'll be full. So.